Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, I want to take a look at implementing the solution that George provided us. So he actually made a gist that we have here, and this is the exact code that he was running to do to make vocabulary for the actual what do you call it, the songs. And so, this one's a really good thing. I have a project that's very similar to this, but it's not agentic, and it has a static workflow where it will take subtitles from a movie and then it will create vocabulary. That one was a little bit complex, but maybe we can take a look at this one, and I'm going to try to adapt it for my target language. Now, he's using OpenAI here as the client, which is fine. It would be nice to use something other than OpenAI for once, and I keep talking about using local compute, so I might end up using my Olama machine here and seeing if we can work with something here. But we generally have an idea of something we can utilize. The other thing is that he's using the built-in tooling that is inside of ChatGPT. We don't need that. And you saw in my video that, you can just totally write some text and tell it to be agentic. So I think for this video, I'm actually going to use Olama. And we're going to use some kind of model on Olama locally to try to see if we can produce that result in the same way. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to make a new folder, and this is going to be learn, or it'll be song vocab, right? So we'll go ahead and make song vocab here. I'm going to go ahead and make a new file, and I'm going to make a prompt.md. Okay, and we will get a little bit of help from Windsurf, whatever you want to use to write the prompt file. But I want to maybe describe what it is that we're coding. So we're going to make a tech spec. As you know, I like making tech specs. So let's describe what it is that we want to do here. So we want to create an agent. Let's just say tech specs. So let's describe the business goal. The business goal is we want to create a utility, a program that will not generate songs based on it, will find lyrics for a target song in a specific language and provide, so we want to create a program that will find lyrics off the internet I'll make this a little bit larger as we're typing it. Internet for a target song in a specific language. Okay. And produce vocabulary to be imported into our database, right? And so we have that. We'll go down to technical requirements. We have Go Gradio stuff. It's because it's picking it up from before. But I'm going to just go use Python here. We'll just use Python. We want to use Olama API. We could also use Llama CPP, but Olama, it will work just as well. There is SQLite, but this is the, we'll ignore that. Yeah, it is SQLite for the database. That's right. We use Olama API for generating, for being the agent. For the LLM. I mean, we need to decide which specific one we have. So what I'll do here is we should actually take a look and see what kind of Olama we can use. You can see I have some few tabs open here from before. But I'm going to just stop this. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll stop that mega service. And we'll go ahead here, and I want to see if I have Olama. So it's saying Olama is not installed. I thought it would be installed here. I am on this side, so I do feel that I need to install Olama. So we'll just say Olama sudo snap install Olama. Maybe we can access Olama over here, but I'm just not 100% confident with that. So if I go here, yeah, it's like I don't even have it installed. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. I might have done this on my AI PC, which is fine. We'll go ahead and we'll start this up. And by the way, I'm also in this other sitting mode here, so I'm going to just toggle this on. I'm not toggled that way there. So what are we doing? We're installing Olama, right? And when we have that there, we can go ahead and install a model. So I'm going to go here, just going to close out my Twitter, And we're going to go over to here, and I'm going to go to Ollama, and let's take a look at what kind of model we could use. So there's a lot of models that we can utilize. We will go into the models over here. So we have DeepSeek R1, which is fine. Llama 3.3, which is new. Do they have any smaller ones? They don't. It's just 70 billion, which is too small, too big for me. Llama 3.2, which I do like. Mistral, Quen, Gemma. I mean, like we want to do our own reasoning. So I'm not sure if we want to use DeepSeek because it's going to have its own reasoning there, and that can kind of get in the way. Maybe it's not an issue, but I think I would rather not have that there. So, and there's Gemma. So I'm wondering how like Gemma 2, we'll say Gemma 2 versus Llama 3.2. Like how well does it do? Is there any kind of benchmark? I don't know. I'm sure they're both okay. But I'm going to work with Llama 3.2, and if anybody wants to work with anything else, they can, just because it's a reasonable size. Now, I do want to use something a little bit larger than I normally would, because, well, this says Llama 3.2, 1 billion, 3 billion model. I thought there was larger than this view. Well, there is more larger ones, right? Isn't there like a 7 billion parameter one? We only have 1 billion, 3 billion parameter. That can't be right. Let's go back here. But then there's this one, which has much larger model sizes. And there's Llama 3.3, which is 70 billion. Then for here, we have a few different sizes. Yeah, it's kind of hard to decide which one I want to use. And there's obviously Mistral. Mistral's been getting a lot of popularity. So maybe we could use Ollama Mistral. Maybe that's what I'll use here. So I'm going to go ahead and just say Ollama run Mistral here. And so that's going to go ahead, download it, and also run it. I'm just doing this so I can download it. Now, it's obviously a very large model. And I do have GPUs. I'm not sure if it is going to be GPU optimized because it's using GGUF. But if I need to use the GPUs, I'm not sure actually I'd configure that in Ollama. I don't think we can do that. But anyway, it'll just detect whatever's on my machine and use it appropriately. So we'll download that and we'll see how well it works. But maybe here we'll say like Mistral 7. So we'll use Mistral 7. We'll say like Mistral 7 billion parameter model. Ollama via the Ollama Python SDK. And down below here, and we might also want to define like, if we do have an application, like do we want to make it a Flask app, a Fast API app? I'm not sure, but I'll say hello. I just want to see how fast it is. And it's an okay pace. It's not super, super fast, but it's fast enough. I don't know if Ollama automatically utilizes, what do you call it? GPUs. Yeah, let me go. Quit. Bye. We'll say bye. And so what I want to do is go here. It's like, does Ollama use GPUs? Ensure you have compatibility. So I think it actually is using it. One way we can find out, if I type in NVIDIA on another tab here, we type in NVIDIA SMEI, is that what it is? SMI? There we go. And so if I am utilizing it here, we'd see some information. You'll actually notice that we do actually, we are getting some use because I'm recording right now via OBS. And so I'm wondering if I go back here and I run that again, and I say, hello, I want to go over here and see if it's being utilized. I think it is. It's hard to say. I'm not always the best at observing that information right now. But anyway, the point is that we have a certain level of expectation of how it works. So that's fine. So we have, maybe I'll say Fast API. Just because we seem to be coming across that quite more often. And I mean, Flask is fine. I like Flask, but you know, if Fast API probably is very similar and we can get similar results. So what is it that we want? We want to be able to provide a name of a implementation details. But we might say like the API endpoint. So I'm going to go here and just say like API get lyrics right? Because we only really need one endpoint, to be honest. And so this endpoint takes a song name and song name artist and song name and song name and optionally and maybe an artist. And returns the lyrics and returns and name and returns the lyrics in returns the lyrics okay in text format. That's all I want, right? So that will be our first endpoint. Another one we might want to have, so like we want to get vocabulary. So this endpoint takes a song, a text file for a song, and returns a list of vocabulary found in the word in a specific JSON format. And if we can, I would like to use instructor for formatting for structured JSON output. I think we can do that. And so that's something that we'll have to take a look here. So if we look at structured JSON output, and we look up instructor here, the question is like, what can it work with? Because that's where we're going to run into issues. And so that might determine whether we should use Ollama or not. So we go to integrations here. We have Mistral and Ollama. So Ollama is what I was talking about. And so we can see that there is an implementation here. So that is something that we can utilize, which is really, really good. We need to get our lyrics, right? And so we'll be a little more descriptive here. So maybe the param. So we'll take, we'll go here and just say, maybe this like get lyrics and API endpoint. So get lyrics endpoint. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this down. I like to format it more like this, actually, because then we get more descriptive about it. Get vocabulary. And then we will bring this down here like this. So we have, yeah, that one there. And then we will say, maybe just like API endpoints. This endpoint takes a song and name, so let's just say parameters. Request parameters. I mean, it says song name or song artist. I suppose we could do that. And yeah, and so this one is required, right? So required, optional. Okay, and then the response payload, yeah, the response should be the lyrics, right? Yeah, that's basically it. We'll say JSON response, JSON request. Sure, JSON, yeah, like that. Yeah, so that looks fine to me. It might describe behavior. Now, I thought it was really interesting that George is using DuckDuckGo. Now, I've used SERP API, but I wonder if you have to even do anything special to use DuckDuckGo. So if we go back over to his example here, we have DuckDuckGo search. Let's take a look at this. Because for the SERP one, DuckDuckGo, we had to actually make an account and stuff like that. And I have that in the Gen AI Essentials. Yeah, it looks like you just use it. So maybe we'll use DuckDuckGo search. And we'll go here and say like to search for lyrics. Okay. The endpoint takes a song name and maybe as well as the artist name. Okay. Goes to the internet. Goes to DuckDuckGo. And returns song lyrics. This endpoint will use an LLM. So I'm just trying to think about this because, we have the agent, right? And the agent needs to be responsible for interactions. And the idea is that we are supposed to be able to, yeah, I'm just thinking about this for a second because are we defining tool use or are we defining the agent? Because we go here and this is the search web feature, right? And so this is just a function that can be called here internally. So I'm not really sure if we need to do what I think that we're doing, right? Because do we really need these endpoints? Or do we just need a single endpoint that we can talk to, right? Yeah, that's my question. Your helpful language tutor, when you first interact with a song, you should provide using the native language, not goal achieved, whatever, whatever. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm just trying to decide what that looks like, right? So maybe I'll make a new folder here called tools. And then we might have, like, is this a tool? Like here we have search web, right? And then here we have get page content from the web. And then we have extract vocabulary. So these are 3 separate functions. So I might go here and we'll just say, what was the first one? He called it search web. So like search web is more of a generic one. So we'll say search web pi. I'll make another one here called get page content pi. Another one here will be extract vocabulary. Okay, so this function takes a body of text and will extract out the vocabulary. Into a specific JSON, structured JSON output. Okay, so that's that. Then we have over here, so this will, I don't need 2, I'm not sure I did 2 there, but we'll go over to this one here. And so this tool, instead of calling it a function, we'll call it a tool. So this tool, we'll go over here, this tool takes HTML, takes web page content, and parses it to extract out the target text. Okay. This tool uses DuckDuckGo to search the internet for pages to then further crawl. Okay, so we now have our 3 tools over here. We'll go back to our specs. And so I'm not sure if I really like what I've been doing with this API lyrics because I kind of was trying to start to write the actual endpoints as opposed to the stuff, but this stuff is kind of internal, right? So maybe instead of API endpoints, like we still need to have an API endpoint where it's like, we'll just call it agent, right? And so this endpoint goes to our agent, which is designed, which uses the React framework so that it can go to the internet, find multiple possible versions of lyrics, and then extract out the correct lyrics and format the lyrics into vocabulary. And so here it's more just like request, message request. So a string that describes the song or strong end or artist to get lyrics for a song, right, from the internet. Okay, and we'll just take this out of here. And so here we want the lyrics back, but I also want the vocabulary. So now we just have one endpoint, right? Um, and we are saying like what it is, and so there are specific tools that they can utilize. So tool use tools available is the extract vocab.py, the get page content.py, and the web search, which are in tools, right? Okay, so I think we have enough here to help it define what it is. I don't know if it's going to be able to do it. We might have to just kind of adjust it. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to do the dirty thing we always do. I'm going to go get my text specs. I'm just going to give it a name in front of here so it's a bit easier to find. We'll call this song vocab text specs. And so we'll go here and say song vocab text specs. I'll say create my fast API app and the agent and its prompt using tool use. Okay, and so we'll go ahead and let it do that. And yeah, when George is saying like about those tools, saying like you know, these things don't need to know about the tools, it obviously does because you're giving it JSON. And I've done a lot of research into this, specifically with like Cohere and other providers, and they are injecting them somewhere, right? So even though we don't see it, they are getting injected some way, and so there's really no magic happening. They might just do some pre-processing beforehand that goes in there. But so it's generating our requirements.txt. I'm going to switch this over to write mode. So I'm going to stop here and say, sorry, I wasn't set to write mode. Try again. And so now it should be able to implement those. We'll just give this a refresh here. So we have our requirements.txt. So we have fast API, UVcorn, OLAM, instructor. We know what a UVcorn is because we saw that in OPA, or we talked about it. Pydantic, since we need to provide it a structured output. It was interesting that I don't remember who it said. Maybe it was Derek, but was saying that they outproduce the schema anyway. So that's kind of cool. But we can see that these are creating, coming along. So that's really, really good. Okay. So let's go take a look at our prompt. I don't see any prompt written. Did it not write the prompt? We do. Okay, but you know, put the prompt in the prompt.md. Actually, I'm just going to move this around here. I'm just going to go make a new folder here called prompts. And instead of having this, I'm going to delete it. And we'll say agent. Lyrics agent dot md. Can you put the prompt into the prompts lyrics agent and reference it and externally load it? So we'll let it go ahead and do that, okay? So it's going to go to the races there. It's waiting for me to do something here, so I'm just going to hit stop and run this again. And so now it'll probably move that code out into the appropriate place. We will read and see what it looks like here, but I've had good experience with this working here. And we are using Mistral 7, so I'm not sure like how much instruction it needs, but I would, again, just provide the instruction. We can also try to take it out and see what George says, where maybe it already knows about the tools. But I don't know, I kind of feel like it needs to know a little bit more so it knows what to do, eh? So I'm going to go over to here, take a look at the lyrics agent. And so now it's moved it over here. We'll just accept all for now. And it says, you're a helpful AI assistant that helps find song lyrics and extracts vocab from them. You have access to the following tools: search web, get page content, extract vocabulary. Follow the React framework. Think about what you need to do. Choose an action from the available tools. Observe the results. Observe the result. Think about your next step. When you have the final result, return it in this format. And so we see lyrics and vocabulary. This isn't going to really help out much. So I would rather just take this part out and take out the formatting because, or I would just say that maybe what we can do is have a separate step. So like, I don't think this is responsible for producing the, well, it depends. So like, do we use a separate we don't really need, yeah, I'm just trying to think about this for a second. Because I don't think the agent needs to do this. So like, I don't think the agent needs to return JSON because we will store the lyrics somewhere when we download them from the internet. And we will store the JSON file after formatting. Maybe in outputs folder. So maybe all we need back is a unique handler to know what files to load and then pass to JSON in the Python code. So we'll go ahead and do that because I think that might be a better approach to it. I want to try to offload as much from the agent here as possible. I want it to basically be the orchestration of these steps and determine if it's good or not. So here it's talking about making an outputs directory. We'll let it do that. That's fine. And it's going to go ahead and update that code. And also the lyrics agent, because it doesn't really need this step. When you have found the lyrics and extracted vocabulary, the lyrics will be saved in this directory and return only the song ID that can be used to locate the files. The song ID should be a URL safe string based on the name of the song. So that's good. The other thing is that, my agent is specifically for my target language. Now we could make this very agnostic for whatever it is, but the thing is that it has to be like careful for the extraction. So I think like for vocabulary extraction, it should be done by an LLM. So we might have this over here where it hasn't implemented any of these solutions yet, but I'll go ahead and accept all right now. We'll just accept all. Let's just take a look at what we have. So we have OLAMA, we have typing, instructor, pathlib, pydantic. We have our tools being imported here, which is, it's interesting because I've been told that I don't do imports right, but this is importing the way that I would import. We have a tool, agent thought, song lyrics. I'm not sure why these need to be in pydantic. Okay. We have song lyrics agent. So here, it's a little bit different than I was expecting, to be honest. But we have the tools being defined here. And we have generate songs, so create a URL safe song. That's fine. I mean, we could make that a tool as well if we want to. So I'm going to ask, like, should the generate song ID also be a tool? Yeah, and so I'm just trying to think of like whatever the agent has to do that it can just interact with it, right? So we'll go ahead and just let that move it there. We'll give this a refresh here. So now we have generate song ID. And so we'll just say accept all. So now we have another tool. So our tools are coming along here, which is good. I'm going to go just accept all here. So we have generate song ID, extract vocabulary, get page content, get search name. These are just some paths, so we know where some things are. Okay, so that makes sense. They have process requests. So here we have async process request. So that's an incoming request. We say open the file. We have our conversation. Find the lyrics and vocabulary for the message. Max turns 5. So it's doing that kind of limit that George was talking about. So that's kind of in there. It's trying to use Mistral. Now it says client chat. I'm not sure what it loaded in here. Did it load OLAMA in here? So we go here. I'm looking for OLAMA. It is. It's assigned the client. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but if it does, that's awesome. And then we go here. We see agent thought. So here's the response model. So the response model here is thought, action, observation, song ID, lyrics, vocabulary. Why do we need so I'm going to ask, like, why do we need pydantic to structure the React format? Is this needed? Like, I don't know. See, this is what I don't. I mean, I guess like if you're parsing it, and we actually do have to parse it, that might be an issue. But here, what it's doing is, whoops, I didn't necessarily need to change it. But instead of using agent thought, here it would just do basic parsing. And so I think I'd rather have that because it hasn't implemented the tools, right? So yeah, so when I was talking about instructor, I was talking about using it in the extract vocabulary tool. Let me show you the format. Okay, so I'm not going to tell it the format, but I'm going to just go ahead and do that. And so now it's going to go ahead and try to implement that. I think the generate song ID should already be here, so that's good. We'll just accept that. That's totally fine. This is not implemented yet. This is not implemented yet. We'll go over to extract vocabulary. I'm going to go ahead and accept that. So here we have vocabulary item, word definition, whatever. This is not what I want it to be. We actually have a very specific format that we want. And it should be in our Lang portal what reference we want it to be. So we have Flask React here. If we go into here, into backend Flask, into JSON format here, this is the format we want the JSON output to be should match what we see in data adjectives. Okay, and so that should help it out. I'm just worried when we have so much stuff going on here, can't see what's going on. But here, I hope that it fixes the structure, right? I guess another question is like, is Mistral 7 multilingual? I mean, it must do French and English. Mistral 7, is it multilingual? So it's saying that you shouldn't use it for Japanese, maybe? Russian, Chinese, Japanese. Supports large 2. Well, what are we using? I guess we'll find out as we work with it. We can always swap out the model, so it's not that big of an issue. Update the agent prompt to be more specific with Japanese lyrics. Clarify what we're looking for here. And we really, I'm just going to focus on Japanese. Now, you can try to make this generic, but the parsing of the vocabulary really matters, and that's where we're going to run into some trouble. Extract the Japanese vocabulary here as an example. And so there we have that update, so that is good. I'm going to go back to our agent. And the other thing is that, the agent needs to know that this is for a very specific target language. So go ahead and accept this. So here we have, you're a helpful assistant for, update to Japanese vocab. That's perfect. Try to find the original Japanese lyrics. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Make sure that you get both the Japanese Romaji versions if available. Verify that the lyrics are complete and accurate. That's perfect. The lyrics will be saved in the output directory, etc., etc. Return only the song ID that can do that. So if we go over to here, this is using Mistral, which is perfect. That's what I wanted it to do. So extract the Japanese vocabulary following the text. Each word has the following things. Select words that would be valuable for Japanese language learners. No, we want all vocab. So in this file, so first of all, for the extract vocab, can we move the prompt into the prompts folder? And we need to get all vocabulary from the lyrics, not just some. Okay, so we'll go ahead and let it go and fix that. So it's going to take that and move that into the prompts directory. And I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit more explicit about what it is that it's going to utilize. We'll give it a moment there, okay? All right, let's take a look here. So we have in here, it extracted out, maybe if we give this a refresh, it's now in extract vocabulary. So it says extract all vocabulary, include every word from the text, including nouns, verbs, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, particle expressions. We don't need the particles. So I would probably change it to say include every word from the text. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, ignore grammar or fixed expressions, right? Break down each word into each parts. The other thing is like I want them to use the dictionary. Do not skip any words, even ones, even common ones. Include all grammar. Do not skip even common ones. Include all grammatical formats. I mean, it depends. Like, provide words in their dictionary form. Convert words to their dictionary form. Break down component words in their parts. Make sure Romaji is accurate for each part, which that last one's really important because I always had a lot of challenges with that. So I like that it did that. It says that. So this is kind of really what I want. Break down each part here. We'll say number 3 here. Change that to 3. And yeah, so now we have those 3 parts to it. It doesn't say like you are whatever, which is fine. I don't really care if it has that there. And so now that one's set up. So we go extract vocabulary and we'll just accept this here. So this one's using Olama as well. I'm not sure how that would work if they're using the same model. I assume it could do that maybe. We'll go to generate model, generate song here. We need to implement the search web tool. I don't think that's implemented yet. It's not. Let's let that go ahead and do that. It's cool because you could keep like making a bunch of tools. I'm surprised we just don't make a ton of tools in this bootcamp and then leverage them into their core things. But even like extract vocabulary is something that could live as its own little app that should be shared among other things, which we don't do here. But here it goes. We have DuckDuckGo as an implementation. Okay, so I mean, this looks fine. Add Japanese specific keywords to improve results. So we have Nihongo, and I know that's words like uta, so that's like to sing, but I don't know these 2 kanjis together, but maybe that is correct. The first kanji looks good to me. And so we have here using DuckDuckGo. I mean, I don't know the API that well, but it kind of looks like the one that George had provided us. Then we need to implement like, okay, now the get page content. Right? So this would have to parse the text. And so we could use Beautiful Soup or that HTML tool, but we'll see what happens here. The LM could also rip it out, but you probably want to try to pare it down as it goes. So we'll give it a moment here to generate, okay? All right, so we have an implementation here, and it's using Beautiful Soup, which is fine. Beautiful Soup is a lot more robust, but the other one that George is working is totally fine as well. Sometimes you want a simpler solution, but if it does all the work for us to extract it out, that's totally fine. But let's take a look at what it does. So here it says, get the client, Japanese lyrics, Romaji lyrics, Beautiful Soup, script header. So it's removing stuff from it. It's looking for matching patterns. I'm not sure if that would actually work or not. This seems a little bit more complicated. Like it seems that you just grab the text. But I'm going to let it try it anyway, even though I'm not really confident that that is a good solution. So now we have our agents implemented or our tools implemented. I wonder if it's aware of what our tools need in order to work, because it doesn't describe its inputs or outputs. So here we have tools. Where does tools go? How does it know how to work with the tools? Yeah, I'm just not confident that it would know what to do with them. But anyway, what we'll do, I think we're still running the model somewhere here, are we not? We are. So if we say Mistral run, actually, I don't even think we need to do that because it's going to use the API locally and do that. So I'm just say bye. That doesn't mean Mistral's not run or Olama's not running. It is running in the background. But I think while we're ready to actually try this out. So it's okay. So how do I test my model? How do I test my code? How do I run my code? Because in here I don't see the fast API. Why is it doing that? It's a bit confused, isn't it? Well, I guess, sorry, it's right. We would have to do that. That makes sense. So I'm going to go into the correct location. So this is the song vocab. We'll do a pip install requirements.txt. But the thing is, it doesn't have any fast API implemented here. Oh, we do have a main over here. Oh, we have a main over here. Okay, we never looked at the database. I don't want that for the database. I do not want this to happen. So we'll go ahead and ignore that for now, at least. And so we have our API agent. And in here, we have this, right? I'll just say, like, can you write a curl command that I can use to test the app? So get the song lyric agent, process the request, get back the song ID, read the stored files, return it, otherwise return it. And it's not doing anything with the database. Now there's this over here, which that could be a separate action, right? Like we don't necessarily have to do this the same way. And here it's trying to run it with UV-corn, which I guess is a way that we could run fast API. That makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. We'll make a new bin directory here. And I'm going to go ahead and just go get. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's not a get, it's a post, to be honest. But we'll say post here. Post. And we'll say post API agent. Find the songs from, oh, Yabasobi Idol. It's interesting that it chose that. I actually know that song. I mean, I don't know the show, but the song is very famous because it's a very fun song. But we will go ahead and, like for an anime it is, user bin bash. That's what I want here. And so now we should be able to do is just run this. I'm going to make a new file here called readme.md. Say how to run the server. And then we have, how to test the API, or how to use the API. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go down here. I really don't expect this to work first try, but at least all the code's kind of in place, and I'm kind of okay with it. Port 20 ports has automatically forwarded the process based on the. I've never seen it say that before, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and run the next command here. Whoops. Let's ignore that there. I'll go to this other tab here. We'll go into song here. I'm going to do chmod u plus x on our bin post directory. And let's go ahead and run the bin post. Okay, so we run this and it says function object has no attribute. Completions. Oh, okay. And so we'll go back over to here and we have an internal error. At least it told us what the problem was. We'll go over to here and we'll search for completions. Let's come back here. No attribute called completions. So the only challenge here is like we can't really tell what's going on. So we need like more robust logging. I get an error. Can we add lots of logging to our tools and our API and our agent code so I can clearly see where the fail is occurring? So we'll go ahead and let it do that. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, let's see what it did for more robust logging. So it added a logger, which is fine. And actually, I do like the format that it's using there. And I'm not sure why it removed the tools. Why did it remove the tools? Remove instructor patch since it was causing completion errors. Well, I wasn't telling what to do there. Add a detailed logging for each step, improve error handling. Add a request logging. The function object attribute completions was happening because we were trying to use instructor.patch on Olama client correctly. I removed that, and now we're using Olama directly. But I wonder why it took these out of here. I mean, I never really understood to begin with why it was trying to do tools here, because I don't think it would have been aware of it, eh? So maybe that was kind of the old code when it had another structure. So that does kind of make sense that it does that. We'll go ahead and accept that. I want to see if it added any logging over into our main.py as well. It did. Okay, good. So now we might have a better handle of what's going on here. I know we don't have to restart it, but I'm going to restart it anyway. And we'll go over to bash. I'm going to go ahead and run bin post. And so now we have no search results found, which is fine. And so now we go here, we might be able to see some logging. And we do. So we'll go over to here. And what do we have? So we have receive requests, find lyrics for Yosabi idol, right? Initializing the songs, output directories. So I guess it's just confirming that they're created. Initializing the Olama client, which is good. Olama client initiated. Process requests through agent. Request processing find lyrics for... Oh, so it's actually telling us what the agent's doing here. Agent, main, agent, agent. I really did like the way that it was showing the information from the way that, we call it, George had done it. And we're kind of getting it here. So find the lyrics, searching for lyrics. And so it's going to DuckDuckGo here. It's showing us 200. Error during search link. No search results found. Oh, interesting. So, yeah, I wonder why. Because, like, if we were to search find, do this. Like, okay, we'll say, does the logging make clear what search requests are happening with DuckDuckGo? And I remember that when he was getting a lot more output back. So I'm just curious if we look at his implementation here, if it did some kind of iteration. So this one was really, really simple. You see, it's search web, and it's all it does is give max results 10. So he was just looking at the top 10 max results. And so let's go over to here and take a look at what we have in ours. And so this one here, it's going to inject some certain things into here, but it's not, well, actually, it's customizable, so we can put in more results if we want. So let me go add more logging to the get content page tool to better track the web page fetching, content extraction. I mean, I want to know what it did here to make it more visible. Logging, so it has that query there, but did we already get that information? No, we did not. So this might help a little bit more, having more of that information here. Again, I'm not sure if we really need to edit that page, but we'll let it do it if it wants to. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and accept that. And so there is more stuff going here. Again, if there was a problem, I feel like it would be this parsing area because it's not very good. We'll go ahead and hit up. And remember, we're just using Mistral 7 locally, so if we get good results, that'd be really cool. It says no search results found. Let's go back over to here and see what we're getting in terms of our results. So we are getting an error during handling, but let's take a look a little bit closer at our output here. I'm gonna go switch back to standing here. My legs are killing me. Sitting, surprisingly. But now we can kind of see better exactly what it's typing in for find search results. Okay. And just give me a second to get raised up here. 1 second. There we go. And we'll just fix my camera here for 2 seconds. There we go. Okay, and so we can see that we're getting fine lyrics for Yosabi idol lyrics, and we could probably grab it this way. I'm not sure if the way it's searching is great, but we'll just go to DuckDuckGo and find out, like, what does it return if we do that. So we go to DuckDuckGo here, and we'll type that in. And we do get results back, so clearly that's going to work. That's going to be totally fine as a means to search. So we say running DuckDuckGo search in the thread pool, opening DuckDuckGo session for query find lyrics, requesting 5 search results, which is less than what we normally do, but that's totally fine. Like from what George did, he did 10. Error during DuckDuckGo search get URL rate limit. Oh, so we hit a rate limit. Oh, okay. I didn't know we had a rate limit. So we'll go here and we'll just tell it. So clearly there's a rate limiting issue. And so we'll just go ahead and paste that in here, and maybe it can help fix its own problem. Okay, so maybe we're hitting it too fast, or I don't know if we have to sign up for DuckDuckGo in any means here. We'll add a rate limiting retry logic to handle this better. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But I would have thought that it would have needed an API, like an API key or something. So like if we go here and we look at the project information here, install DDS class. Does it need an API key? That's what I keep wondering. Oh, it's interesting. Initiate a chat session with DuckDuckGo AI. Oh, that's really interesting. I did not know DuckDuckGo had an AI. Text search by DuckDuckGo. Image search. Videos, things like that. News, disclaimer. This is not affiliated with it. So yeah, again, I don't think it has an API key here. So it says it add a rate limiter class. It implemented an entire class for, well, I don't understand. Why didn't we have this problem when George did it? So if we go over to here, I mean, he just uses it and get the 10 results. So it's very, very straightforward and simple. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I can't imagine the underlying implementation is much different. So if we go over to our tools here into search web, yeah, sure, I'll accept it. It's fine. If it wants to do rate limiter, that's fine. We go search web here. Maybe because it's trying more than once, but I really, again, I don't think so. But this rate limiter might help it wait a little bit and put in some delays. So that might reduce our issue. If we do hit a rate limit, we'll automatically wait and retry. The logs will show exactly what's trying the rate limit. Try searching again. Okay, so this might help a bit. I probably don't have to stop it every time. I'm going to do that anyway, though. We'll go back over to here. I'm going to go ahead and hit post. And we'll go back over to here. Now we'll see what the results are. We immediately get an error back. So rate limit hit, retrying in 8 seconds. So that means we're totally fine for now. No search results found. Found 0 search results. Error processing, no search results found. But we're hitting this rate error limiting issue. And again, I don't know why we're having this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify the tool. I'm going to say search web with DGG. Or we'll say DGG, DuckDuckGo. Okay, so we'll make a new one here. We'll say search web. And we'll say SERP. Pi. Okay, so we are having problems with DuckDuckGo rate limiting. I've changed the name of the tool to search web SERP, search web DGG. Can we update the code accordingly? Can we also implement an alternate search via SERP? I have created an empty file for SERP in search web SERP. But yeah, again, it's just the fact that it has to use an API key, which is fine, but we'll see what we can do here. So it'll implement the SERP implementation. We show how to do SERP in the GenAI Essentials, so you can see that in that course there. But it will implement that one. I hope that it updates the name for the prompt here. So we go back over to our lyrics agent. And it should tell us about and here, it should know about it, but I didn't see it update that. So maybe it doesn't know. I'll create a SERP API. We'll give it a moment there to finish updating. One thing I noticed is it made a search web file, which I'm not sure why it did that. And so, why did you create a new search web? We have search web SERP and search web DGG. I think it might have got confused there. Right, we don't need a separate, let's update the agent to try both search providers. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't know why I did that. So I'm gonna just delete this file out of here because that's kind of annoying. And so here we have the SERP API implementation. We probably need the SERP API key, so I'm gonna go figure that out. So we'll say SERP API key, SERP API. And I remember this being kind of a pain to use, but I mean, it wasn't a pain, but it's just kind of like not the best. I'm hoping that I can just log in with Google and get in here. So let's try this. There we go. And so I have a key. Obviously don't share keys. I'm going to actually rotate this key out, manage keys and regenerate API key. Okay. And while that's going there, I'm going to go take a look here. Yeah, I've already done this last step here. Looks up to all. And I'm going to go look up the docs here and see, where do we, how do we use the key? So we go here to SERP API, we'll go into documentation. And there should be a way to utilize the key here. I don't know, but we'll go back over to here. And so the SERP API key must get loaded somewhere, right? SERP API key. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to go and update this with a .env file. We will also add a git ignore in this. Git ignore. And in here we will ignore the outputs directory, all the files in it, and we'll also ignore the .env. This could mess things up if we don't have the we'll just say .json, .text in here because we don't want the outputs directory. We just don't want that stuff there. I don't know if it's going to be outputs or output. Yeah, it is outputs up here, so that's perfect. And it looks like it goes into respective folders. So I'm going to go here and just say like this. So any subfolders here. I think it's just singles actually. And so it should ignore the .env, but we go over to here now. We can put in our SERP API key, SERP API, which I have somewhere here. So I'm going to grab I don't need to regenerate, but I'll grab my key here, and then we'll just do the equals here. What does it want? It wants SERP API key, so I'll make sure that is correct. And what we'll do is go down to our requirements.txt, and we'll just do a, no, come on, python.env. Yeah, I don't want to fix it with a specific version. I don't like that it's fixing versions. Like you should fix versions, but you should be very deliberate of what it is, and it could be doing really old ones. Like this might be a very old version of instructor, and same thing with Olama. But if it is working, it's totally fine for now, but I'm just going to ignore that. So now we have python.env. We'll go up into our main.py, and yeah, we'll load the .env file. And so that way it will bring in that here. So we take a look here. This looks okay. There is a newer API, so I'm not sure if this is pulling up the old one or not. So we'll have to investigate. Again, this is only because I've used it before. So if there's code that I've never done before, I generally do it by hand. And then when we're doing this, then at least I know what I'm looking at. Except for the Go code that we did earlier in the bootcamp. But let's take a look at the agent and see if it updated the tool use. So not in here necessarily doesn't matter. But here it would extract out like what kind of actions. And it looks like it maps the tool. So this is responses tools. So where's that tools? Oh, it's up here. Oh, interesting. Well, then how's it mapped? Tools, responses, action name. Tools. Okay. But where's the tools? How does it know what the tools are? Because before we had that dictionary, right? And now I'm not seeing it here. Hmm. Okay, well, it seems to know what tools to work with despite us not explicitly calling them here, which is kind of interesting. Await function tool. Oh, okay. So it's dynamically calling, which is actually kind of cool. I like that. But if you wanted to be more clear, you can make it a lot more explicit. That's usually how it works. But we'll go ahead and I'm going to stop this here. And so, we haven't fully read the SERP code, but we'll just see what happens. And we'll just try this again. I think the server didn't start. No module named SERP API. That's fair enough because we have to do pip install -r requirements.txt. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go back to this. We'll go back over to here. We will hit up. And nope. Did not add it. So we'll go here. Maybe it needs to add SERP. SERP API. And we'll go ahead and try this again. And we'll try this again. Hopefully that is the right one to install. Cannot import Google search from SERP API. So let's go over to here and take a look at how we actually install it. SERP API GitHub. Maybe it's on GitHub. We'll go here. SERP API Python. I'm just looking for the client. Here we go. This is the client. So maybe I didn't name it correctly. No, it is SERP API. It didn't put like a hyphen in it, did it? No, okay, that's fine. Import it. So we'll go over to SERP here. And here we can see that it does this. It doesn't know that. Because again, I think that it has a newer API. Yeah, like see here. This doesn't make sense. It's I think it's using the old API. So I'm gonna go tell it to try to use a new one. So are you using the new API? Because maybe it's getting confused. Yeah, it's been updated. I know it has been updated. Like I can just even hear. But I know if we go in the docs here, this is part of the page I saw earlier. Not exactly, but anyway, I guess we'll see here. I'm trying to remember if I actually even used the, now that I'm thinking about this a bit more, I think actually I used the Ruby implementation, and that's why this code looks a bit different to me. It says no module name search, whatever. And I mean, we can try again here, but we might just have to actually read the documentation. The package name has changed. Oh, it has. To what? Google search results, has it? Google search results. I don't think that's the right package. Is it? Okay. Oh, yeah. No, maybe I did use it and it is this name. Yeah, I actually do think this is it. Yeah. I don't even know what SERP stands for, but whatever. So I made these changes. I'll run the code again. I don't need you to do nothing. I'm going to go ahead and start this up. We still have some errors here. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can fix it again. To match the import name. It didn't do that before? Yeah, it was already named correctly. That's what I thought. The import looks correct. Let me check if there's an issue with the package itself. No, I'm just gonna do it manually. We'll ignore this for a second. So let's take a look and see what it says here. So I'm gonna just stop this and start this back up again. Then we'll just take a look if we get an error. We're not getting an error now, so we'll just ignore that. We'll go up here and we'll go ahead and hit post. And we'll see what we get. So we'll give it a moment. It is taking time, so that's a good indicator that something might be going good here. It is trying DGG first, which we could probably just tell it to use SERP to begin with. So yeah, it's hitting rate limit, which is totally fine. After its third attempt, we'll move on to the other one. Okay, so, maybe there's a way that we can just tell it to use SERP. So I'm going to go over to our lyrics agent file. And in here, it probably talks about tool use. Yeah, it like the tool use is out of date in the lyrics agent, right? Because it's not specifying DGG or SERP. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I see agent is wrong. I just don't want to fix it because then I have to update it in more than one place. But I did spell agent wrong. That probably is driving people crazy. Um, I'll click off and click on back on here. And so now we have SERP and this. I think the thing is like the prompt is now updated to reflect the two search providers we have available. The code is already using both providers, so each should work now. The only thing is that when it attempted here, like, did it even attempt SERP? It didn't look like it did. Also, I was looking at old code. But you know, our agent never attempted. Like, it doesn't look like our agent attempted SERP. Maybe because it was still on like search web and it was hard coded for a different one here, searching for AI here. No, it has it here. So first it does SERP and then it does that. So I'm going to ignore it. So it says it should do SERP first. Maybe we just never saw it because there was so much going on here. I'm going to stop it and start this again. What's kind of interesting here is that process request. Where does it call this? Process request? Well, okay, but how does it how does it know to call process request? Because we have this here. So it's going to say like how does the agent know how to call process request? Maybe it's in the, oh, you know what it is? It's in the main.py. That's probably what it is. So if we go over to here, yeah, there it is. So we can see it here. So here we have the agent and we say process request and we give it the message request. And then if we go into our agent here and we scroll up, we can see process request. And it looks like the first thing it does is it tries to search. Looking at the process request, it looks like it always searches. How is this the agent calling tool use? If search always gets called. Yeah, because it's right now it's a hard-coded sequence, right? And so that's the part that looked a little bit off to me. Yeah, like here it's very, very much following an explicit order. This is a static pipeline. Now it still might work. Okay, like we'll just say, yeah, go update the code for me. Okay. And that will give it a more flexible thing. Like we say React doesn't have to literally be the React pattern, but that's the easiest one to say. And so we'll give it a moment there to update this here. What do we have here? It says use the LM to decide which tools to use in what order, follow the React pattern, etc. Let's go back here and take a look at the agent. A lot of this code should be simplified. So if we go here, yeah, now this makes sense. So like here are the tools that you can utilize, right? And then we look at this. And And so we have parse LLM action. That's what makes sense. So parse the LLM's response to extract the tool, execute the tool, save results, save the lyrics and the vocabulary to files. I guess the question, like, is this a tool? Or would the results be saved by something else? So, like, you know, would save results be a tool? Yeah, like it just feels like that should be a tool. And then our request process should be a lot simpler, right? And so now it's just going through iterations. Parse the action on the current turn, 10 terms. If it has to do more than 10, does that mean that it's not going to finish? Because this is a very simple loop, right? But you might have a more sophisticated one to say, like, I'm just saying, like, there's probably a more sophisticated way to do it than just loop 10 times. Because what if it has to do more than 10 actions, right? Or, again, I'm not sure, but I'm just saying, like, maybe that's not the best approach here. Can explicitly call it, so we'll go ahead and refresh this. And now we're getting a lot more tools. We're going tool crazy, but it's fun. So where's the tool? I don't see the tool. Is it here? Where's the tool? I don't see the tool. Where's the tool? I don't see that one in the tools directory. Did you create it? Like, where did you put it? Yeah, we should. Okay. So now that file is over here. We can save the results here. So it's funny we call these tools are really basically just functions or isolate classes or simple classes. But anyway, so they have this old save results here. Okay, did you remove the old save results code from the agent and make sure to import the tool? I don't think you did. Old code, yeah, at the bottom. You mean at the top, right? Yeah, there's a bit more. Yeah, you sure do. Sorry. Now, I'm not sure if this parse LM action is a little bit too complicated, but we'll see as we go here. So we have parse the LM action, execute the tool, process the request. So the agent imports the save results, uses it as a tool registry, no code remnants, consistent with our React implementation. Excellent. I lost my terminal, so I'm just going to reopen it up here. And we'll go ahead and stop this. Hopefully the app still works. It does. Excellent. But now you're kind of seeing that we're getting into the structure that we want, right? So go ahead and do .bin post. And so it is attempting something. We really should be watching this. Let's take a look and see what kind of debugging we get. So we have in here, initialize the Olama client, processing request through agent, processing request to find the lyrics. The logging isn't very verbose. If we go back to here, it never gave us a result back. Just try to open this here. I can't tell if it's still working or not because now we don't have much in terms of logging, right? So I think because it had all that logging and that static workflow is where we ran into that issue. So I'm gonna copy this over and just say, like, hey, look, like this logging doesn't tell us much about what tools are being called and the debugging around them. Okay. And we are getting a response back here. So it actually just completed something. But again, right now I can't even tell what's going on. Let's improve the better show the React flow. Exactly, right? So now it's just going to update and put more comments in. We'll give it a moment here to update. All right, let's see what we have here. So the output looked like something like this. Oof. I mean, I just wanted basic logging, but I suppose that's okay. Starting the new request, find the lyrics for it, getting the action. Sure, whatever. It's a little bit, maybe it'll be nicer than I think it is, but I guess the question is like, where does that output? So thinking, tools, whatever, fine, whatever. I notice it's like, it's just hanging here, so it's not ever going to finish. Hello, kill. Kill. Maybe it's stuck in an infinite loop. I can't stop my server. How do I kill it? And I mean, if we don't know, we can do ps aux grep fast API. That doesn't work. ps aux grep fast API. Oh, it did something really similar. Okay. I don't see it there. Let's just do Python. ps aux. As it clearly is still running here somewhere. I don't know. So we'll do this and just say ps aux grep Python. So we have a few that are running here. It's probably this one right here. So I'll kill this one. Kill -9, and then we'll paste the code in. Okay, we'll try this again and do Python. Maybe we'll do UV corn. That might make it easier. UV corn. I can't tell if it actually found something. It did. So say kill -9, this one. Or is it just, oh no, okay, so now it should be dead. There we go. So now we're going to start up the application again. Already in use, but we killed it. I killed it already. So we'll go ahead here and just say stop. Like, it's so frustrating when things get hanging. Yeah, and I'm so glad I have this because I'm always bad at finding ports. Here we go. So we have this. Oh, we have the PIDs right here. So I can go ahead and just say kill. So let's just say kill -9 this. Okay, and then I'm just going to go check it again. And so now it should be really, really dead. We'll go ahead and we will run this again. Right, so now we should get better input or output. Now it might still hang again, but at least now we can see what we're doing. Say bin, post, and we'll run it. We'll give it a moment here. So if we go back here, now we can probably see what's going on. So here it says getting the results from the LLM. Connection. Yeah, like I don't know what's going on here. It's just hanging. So this is a problem with Olama. Like, is it not? Is Olama not working now for some reason? I mean, you know, why can't we just? Why can't we just do everything via the logger? Like, it doesn't really bother me. Yeah. Like, I don't want them to do that because then they're going to take out everything else. Anyway, what I would say is that we have the basis of the code in here. Now we're just troubleshooting to get it to work. And so this is more of a tedious part. But the point is that all the components are in place and technically it should work, right? So now we have this for logging, which is fine, but I can't kill this. So this is really annoying. I'm going to come back here and maybe I'll finish this video or not. But my point is that the majority of code is here. And so it's just a matter of taking it to the last mile to complete it. But hopefully from this video, you can understand how it is that we would create our agent.